All right, guys, what's going on? My name is Sam. I'm the founder of Protein Painters. I have on this call with me Yaki. Yaki's been with us almost 2 years at this point, and she has a ton of insight to this position. And in this video, I'm going to go over pretty much everything. You guys saw the ad or whatever, and you're applying for this position, and maybe you want to make six figures. You want to make over $100,000, or maybe you want to grow your skill sets, or maybe you want to be a part of a growing company. You want to be a part of a culture that is filled with individuals that all want to be great. And I'm going to show you all of that. We're going to go over compensation. We're going to go over a little bit about who we are as a company, introduce myself, introduce Yaki, and you guys are going to get a full insight, the full picture of what this position entails and who we are as a company. Now, guys, again, my name is Sam. Started this company almost 8 years ago, about 7-8 years ago. We started in the Midland, Texas area, and since then we have grown into a multi-location painting company. Now, I'm going to say it straight up. I want to grow the biggest painting company in the country, and I believe it's possible. I'm going to tell you right now, this industry is broken. There's no quality. There's no processes. There's no standard. The standard is so low in this industry that what we do as a company, our competitors cannot compete with us. Our biggest competition is ourselves, and it's always going to be ourselves. So that's what we built. And Yaki has been here for, I guess, almost 2 years at this point. We're pretty close. And Yaki, you've seen us grow from one location to now 3 locations: Midland, Lubbock, and Oklahoma City. We're a growing company. You've seen a lot of change. You've seen us develop a lot. And so what I'm going to do is I want to pull up something. And while I'm pulling this up, well, first I'm going to go to first thing. If you guys, just to give you guys an idea of who we are, you search up painter in Midland, for example. This is what's going to pop up at the top. Look, here we are, Protein Painters, 219 reviews, 4.8 stars. We have more reviews than all of our competitors combined. If you look up our Facebook, same thing. Protein Painters, we now have 3 pages. We now have pages for all our locations. 216 reviews on Facebook. We have over 400 reviews, which is more than all of our competitors combined. And it's not even close. This is what I mean by you guys, you're watching this video and you want to be great. You want to make a lot of money. You want to grow your skill sets. You want all this stuff. This is what I mean by, like, we're not competing based on the circumstances. We're not competing just because we want to be number 1 in Midland or Lubbock or Oklahoma City. We're competing based on us. We are our biggest competition. So we have the accountability, the discipline, the systems, and everything it takes to flawlessly execute. If we just wanted to be the best in Midland, we would just have more reviews than the top guy, 50-something reviews. That's not our goal. We're building something great here. So that's a little bit about the company and who we are. And again, we're going to go into compensation. We're going to talk about how you can make money, how much money you can make, what's the potential, what's the upside for you. We're going to go into all of that. Now, Yaki, while I'm pulling that up, and before we jump into it, the project manager position, would you say it's a hard position? Would you say it's a stressful position? Would you say, what would you say about this position, just straight up in a few words, for people to understand? Because they see the amount of money they can make, but they need to understand what comes with it. What would you have to say about this position?
I would say that this position is probably one of the easiest positions, but yet stressful positions to definitely do.
What makes it stressful?
Well, the discipline, not the discipline, but just all the tasks combined, whether, customers, painters, team members, making sure everything's basically perfectionist, being perfected. You might be in a job site, and then you have 4 other customers calling you. That's what makes it stressful. It's just the ability of wanting to catch up. But once, customers are handled, all the team members are up to date on the loop, then it's kind of one of the easiest things. It's just all about handling around you, if that makes sense. So
there is so much that goes into this position. We have a sales team, we have a production team. Usually in each location, it's one project manager, one sales rep, or maybe two of each. So that we rely on each position a lot as a company to perform many duties, and especially the project manager position. And so we're going to go into some of those things and give you guys a full insight. I want to give you guys an overview. We're going to talk about the qualifications, skills, core responsibilities. What does the day-to-day look like? And then we're going to get into some of the performance metrics, KPIs, OKRs. Then we're going to go over your compensation structure, and we're going to talk about a roadmap. How much money will you make in this period of time? How much money can you make after this period of time? What is the upside? How much can you grow here in this company? And we'll get into all of that. All right. And we'll talk about the onboarding process a little bit. Okay, so this right here is a quick little overview, guys. This is what the project manager position is all about. Okay, this is a quick summary. So you guys are responsible for overseeing the full life cycles of all assigned painting projects from job setup to completion. From the moment that sales hands it over to you guys, you take it from there. You're communicating with the customer, you're communicating with the painters, you're doing daily site visits, you're updating all of our back-end systems and everything that we do. Communication has to be top-notch. Your leadership, this is one of the things that's noted here, because you're acting as a bridge between customers and painters. And you're also your office and sales team. You're ensuring that projects run efficiently, profitably, and in alignment with Protein Painter's culture, standards, and policies. This is a high ownership, high accountability role requiring strong communication, documentation, leadership, and problem-solving skills. The PM must uphold company culture, maintain painter quality, and ensure all projects meet our standards of excellence. Now, Yaki, real quick, before we go forward, I've seen many project managers come into this. You've seen project managers come in and out as we've done this at a multi-location level. Guys, you have to have skills. You have to have strong leadership and communication skills. If the painters do not respect you, because we work with subcontractors, before we get on an interview call, I want everyone to understand that we work with subcontractors. Subcontractors have their own idea of what is quality, what is professionalism, what is good communication. And you have to take these individuals and show them how we do it and get them either on board with how we do it, or you cut them and let them go. But they have to respect you. You have to show them that you're a leader. You have to communicate thoroughly with them and the customers. You have to have the ability to enforce standards and subcontractors. You got to hold them accountable. But Yaki, you know this better than anybody else, and I want to let you chime in on this. There's a balance between holding people accountable and then knowing when to work with someone. And that's what the balance of true leadership is. Can you chime in on that?
yes, I would say that you are accountable even when others don't follow through. So when painters are not following through, you can send them pictures, you can update them, you can drop, work, you can be on the job site, they'll fix it, it'll just come over again and again and again. So you will be held accountable on that end.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you're the leader. You're the leader of the pack. And Yaki, you know this, because when it comes to your painters, they mess it up, whatever. You are the one that you're getting the phone call from the customer. You're getting the call from me, or you're getting the call or from whoever it is. You're the one that's ultimately accountable for it. So you must be reliable, punctual, and highly accountable. I'm going to say this saying right now because this is something that I live by, and I'm trying to embrace this as much as I can every day and put this into our culture and standards here. Accountability fuels discipline, which fuels flawless execution. I cannot hopelessly tell you guys as project managers, be disciplined, be disciplined. We don't do that here. We're going to hold you accountable. You guys want to be great. You're watching this video. Well, I got news for you. If you want to be great, there's things that it takes to be great. You have to be accountable. KPIs. OKRs, daily coaching calls, all these things that form greatness. And I'm going to say this right now. High achievers don't like mediocre people, and mediocre people don't like high achievers. Because high achievers run circles around mediocre people and make them feel like they have to work so much harder just to play catch up. And high achievers don't like mediocre people because it slows them down. We want a team and a culture filled with high achieving people. What does that mean? Everything I said so far. Another thing that it means, take initiative. Take initiative right up here in the beginning. In this hybrid, you're working from home. During the slower seasons, these are our downtime. But every team member is expected to take initiative with their hiring and recruiting boards so that productivity remains high year round. If you don't have a lot of jobs going on right now, Yaki, what should you be doing?
Hiring painters,
Building your team,
building team.
building standards, accountability,
Mhm.
reviewing with the painters that you do have, helping them improve, getting everything dialed in. We should not be sitting around doing nothing. And so we're always trying to take the next step. So again, as I'm going through this video with you guys watching, when I said, do you want to make six figures in the beginning? You stuck around until now. But maybe as I'm starting to go through this video, some of you guys are going to stop clicking, or you're going to start clicking pause and the exit button. And that's okay, because I want to be very clear. If this is not for you, that is okay. But the goal of this video is to give you a very transparent view of exactly what this position looks like. Because guys, I'm telling you this right now, when you start our interview process, it's very thorough. It's multiple interviews because we want the right people here on our team, because we want to build something great. But we can't build the biggest painting company in the country without great people. I can't win big unless you guys win big with me. And that's my mentality, but I've got to have the right people here on this team. You need to either have experience in construction, painting, or project management preferred. Management is the most preferred thing. I don't care how much experience you have in construction. I need to know you can manage people, and especially, most importantly, manage yourself, because most people can't even do that. Ability to manage multiple job sites and tasks all the time, multitasking. Yaki, how many projects do you have sometimes going on in a week? Can you give us a range?
Up to 15, 12 to 15.
Okay, so that's a busier time of the year for you, 12 to 15. And these jobs are typically
6, even on a slow.
okay, even 6 jobs when it's slow. So Yaki's telling you guys anywhere from 6 jobs up to 15 jobs at a time that Yaki is managing. And our job cycles are shorter. This is not general overall contracting. These are painting jobs. So the average job could probably be anywhere from 3 to 4 to 5 days. Would you say that's true, Yaki?
Yes.
And our average job size is around $5,000. So these jobs are in and out, whether it's exterior trim, exterior brick, walls, but occasionally we'll have bigger jobs. They can be $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 jobs that can take 10, 15, 20 days. We have smaller jobs. Maybe it's a $1,500 job, $2,000 job. It's a fence and a pergola or a tiny trim job. But that's what our jobs look like. You have to have strong documentation and organizational ability. And then you need to be comfortable using technology. We can't just have someone here that, if you're the person that writes down stuff on a piece of paper and you hate technology and it's the burden of your existence, whatever, this ain't for you. You got to be able to use Google spreadsheets. You got to be able to use our software, our CRM, how we communicate with customers, and then Monday.com. But it's pretty simple stuff, guys. It is not hard to learn, but you got to be somewhat tech savvy. All right, core responsibilities. All right, so we have something called the production review. The production review, we have this at every level in our company. We have an intake review, a sales review, and a production review. A production review is basically like a live checklist. It teaches you, it's the roadmap for every single job. So this is going to tell you, this is just, we wrote down all of these to give you guys an idea of how many steps it takes to perform each job. Yaki, you know, I think a lot of people, when they think about project management sometimes, especially in this industry and our competition, they think, okay, I'm a project manager, so I just need to somewhat communicate with the customer, check on the job every now and then, you know, order some paint. But they don't think that, wait, you're telling me you do all of those things for every single job? Yes. This is the checklist for every single job that we do. So you have a startup checklist where you're ordering material, you're starting to text the customer. You've just taken it from sales, right? This is all virtual at this point. You're telling them the schedule, you're ordering their paint, you're checking out their work order, you're looking to assign a painter to it, all of that stuff. This is your startup checklist. Then this is the first part that gets physical in terms of you're actually physically out on the job site, the day one walkthrough. You're out there, you're with your painter that you assigned to this project. You're showing them the job site, you're reviewing it together, making sure they understand, setting any expectations or whatever you need to do with the customer, etc. Then you have a during walkthrough. This is also on the site. That involves many things. You're starting to inspect the work, inspecting the prep work. Are we on track on time frame? Is this properly prepped off? Is everything clean? So prep application, cleanliness, trash, damages, etc., etc. Then we have the final walkthrough. So this is the third time you're now on site, every single project. So let's be very clear. We're talking about the third time Yaki's on a job site, minimum. And Yaki's doing 6 to 15 jobs a week. So that means Yaki has a minimum of 18 stops in a week. Up to 45 stops in a week. Just so you guys understand. That's how many trips she's taking to these people's houses. So our jobs are shorter, but we still have 3 inspections, 3 walkthroughs that we do. Then you're also filling out the painter observations because we have KPIs, OKRs for everything we do. Every single person on our team and our subcontractors have KPIs and OKRs. Yaki, how can you decide which painter to place on an exterior versus an interior?
Going off their KPIs.
So you track every single job, how good their prep was, their application, their trash, their cleanliness, their damages, all these things, every job, so that you build up data, right? So that you can decide. It's KYP, know your personnel. Yaki makes decisions based on data. It's not an emotional thing. She knows, I know my best exterior painter is this person because look at that grade. They've proven it. I know my best interior person, or I know my best cabinet person. Texture, popcorn, whatever it is, she knows her team. But that's where tracking all of this every job, it builds up our KPIs and our OKRs. Communication is so important. So real quick, guys, you got to have effective communication, right? If you're a project manager, you can't say, if your painter says, hey, I was drunk last night, I'm going to show up late to the job. Would you tell that to the customer? No. So you would filter the information and deliver it to the customer the way it needs to be. That's effective communication. Timely communication. Don't leave customers' messages on red for hours and hours. They're going to get frustrated. Same thing with painters. If they need paint, get them the paint that they need. Cross communication. If your painter says there's a problem with this at the job site, you cross communicate it to the customer. Hey, customer, my text said that X is happening at your house. Can we get that situated? That's cross communication. Last but not least is internal communication, your documentation. When you're on the job site and you perform a walkthrough, you fill out your notes and what the walkthrough looked like so that Yaki, who is now the production director, can understand where all her project managers are at, where every single project is at across all our locations. Yaki could be overseeing 50 jobs at one time as a production director. So she needs to be able to see very clearly what that looks like. Yaki, is there anything you would like to add to that?
No. Well, you are the primary point of contact once you have the project in your hands. You are the contact for everybody in the team, the painters, customers, everything. We are the ones that escalate the issues early.
Yes. Okay, other areas, right? Just anything. Maintaining a strong daily presence on job sites, checking in, customer updates bubble, daily photos. Guys, look how detailed this is. Systems, standards, operations, procedures, policies. This is what creates greatness. So if you want to be great, you got to have a system. All right, meeting responsibilities. Now, I want to let you guys know this. We coach really hard. If you want to make $100,000 plus, you got to be coachable. You got to be able to multitask. You got to be able to do everything we're saying in this video. And like Yaki said, it's actually a very easy position, but it can be stressful and it's very detail oriented. But in terms of how the difficulty level, it's not as much difficult. It's just you have to be extremely disciplined to do all the little things consistently. So you have to be consistent. Meeting responsibilities, we do team meetings once a week, production meetings daily. Daily, we're reviewing what jobs do we have going on as a production team. We're looking at our communication. We're looking at our reviews. We're making sure everything is dialed in the way it needs to be. So we're coaching every single day. Painter meeting once a week. You're going to meet with your painters once a week. Okay. So all your subcontractors, you're going to meet with them once a week, review the jobs that they did and review their grades. You're going to be transparent with them about how you're grading them. Yaki, can you elaborate a little bit on what those painter meetings look like?
Yeah, so we talk about several things. First, you want to start off with a good note, like, hey, this is what you did good. And after that, then kind of point out what we can do better and what's a trend, and what started to begin a trend. And then we want to end it in, hey, do you have any questions? Is there something that I can help you to be successful? What can we do on our end to be better? And we just kind of we talked about all those basically, so you'll all be on the same page.
How can you expect them to understand your standard if you never show them and hold them accountable? How can you expect for them to speak openly about you, to you, about the things that they need from you as a project manager? You have to take the time to do these meetings once a week. It really gets you in tune with your painters. Now, and Yaki, you have a phenomenal team in Midland, right? There's been times where you've had to leave your team in Midland for a couple or a few days and things operate smoothly because you're going to Lubbock to do site visits, or you're checking on a project manager, or Oklahoma City, whatever it is, right? But you built up a good enough team to be able to do those things. And it's possible, even with subcontractors. Would you agree that, Yaki?
It is very possible, and the stress that we talk about, it does pay off. It does pay off.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then we have one-on-one meetings, guys. This is where I might be meeting with you, or it's me and Yaki meeting with you, or Yaki just meeting with you. But that's what a one-on-one is, making sure we're always on the same page. We do all of our meetings via Google Meet. Okay. Painter hiring and management. Okay. Before we go into the KPIs and we start talking about money, I know you guys want to talk about money, but let's make sure we review this. These are subcontractors. I've emphasized that numerous times in this video. So do not get on a call if you are not willing to work with subcontractors. They're not W-2s, right? They have their own standards, their own understanding of professionalism, quality, communication. They can be very difficult to work with. Yaki has had numerous times, you being here, Yaki, where you've had new painters and maybe they don't even show up or they walk off. Yaki, doesn't that happen with subcontractors?
Yes, it does, and they come in with their own expectations. So it's our responsibility to mold them into our system.
Yep. And before we start talking about how someone can make $100,000 and all this money, I would like one more opportunity to scare the wrong people off right here. Yaki has had many times where certain things have happened with subcontractors. I've had them myself. Whether it's guys screaming and yelling and cursing on a job site, and you have to tell them, I'm going to call the police if you don't leave. It's happened before. Guys don't show up. And that's why you have to have a plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. First guy doesn't show up. He was supposed to. Doesn't even text you back. He accepted the work order. He was ready. Doesn't even text you back. Then your plan B doesn't show up. He ghosts you too. Now you're scrambling. This is why you got to be over prepared. Okay. I can go down the list of all these scenarios, guys. Or maybe a guy shows up to the job site for an interior job. He smells like weed. Customers pissed. It happens. That's why you should be there on a day one walkthrough. If he smells like that, you tell him, go home, change, and shower, and then come back. That's unacceptable. Or you kick them off and say, dude, I can't have that. You got to go. Whatever it is. But Yaki has a great team. Yaki cares about her team of painters. Her painters care about her. In fact, there's many times Yaki has had the painters have to do things that they didn't want to do that, but they said, Yaki, I respect you enough, and I will do this for you. And they do it. So don't just think it's all bad, but it's hard because it's people. And you have to know how to manage people. You know, have to have leadership skills. And it's a balance of holding them accountable, because then they'll respect you, versus working with them and leading by example, and they'll respect you. But if you don't know how to do those things, guys, that's what real leadership is, because it's hard. And so that was my last chance to try to scare you guys off before we get into some of the numbers and all the stuff that people get excited about, because it's the upside. But these are all the things that it takes to earn a lot of money. It's the things that it takes to grow and be great. So you guys are going to recruit, hire, onboard new subcontractors. You're going to maintain a roster of reliable, compliant, qualified painters at all times. You're always going to be performing production reviews, tracking their data, KPIs, OKRs, everything on the painters. You're going to terminate painters who violate the standard or don't meet job requirements. You're going to build a culture of professionalism, reliability, and accountability. You want to have a great team, you got to do all of those. You're going to collect, verify all painter documentation. So we have a list of all the documents that we require from every subcontractor. You're going to maintain compliance. Your painter roster, it's got to be filled, guys. If you guys are sitting there saying, you're going to see one of the KPIs, if you have this massive pipeline that I hand over to you as a sales rep, and that thing's just building up, you know why it's building up, Yaki? Why is it building up?
So we're not doing what we need to be doing.
You don't have any painters. That's why your freaking pipeline is filled with $200,000 plus of revenue, and you can't get to it because you don't have painters. That's why it's a KPI. All right, so that's the last thing for your core responsibilities. Yaki, is there anything that you would like to add to that before we start getting into all the nice numbers and all that fun stuff?
No, I don't. Whether it's project communication or meetings, always keep in mind that if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. That's really it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Being punctual is necessary. No one's going to respect you if you're showing up late and you're asking them to show up on time. All right, let's get into some of the performance metrics, KPIs, OKRs. I want to say something really important about myself and also Yaki, and you know this. I do not want to coach based off of emotion. I can't do it because emotion will steer me wrong. The only way I can truly coach you guys to be great is through KPIs and OKRs. KPIs, key performance metrics, all this stuff, because that's what measures whether you're good, medium, or bad. You and I are always going to be on the same page in terms of, Sam, I don't know how I'm doing my job. Do you think I'm doing a good job? Does Sam think I'm not doing a good job? Does Yaki think I'm failing at my responsibility? You shouldn't have those questions. You won't, because they're labeled crystal clearly on your scorecards and everything. You know if you're good, medium, and bad. You know what you're not doing your job on. So we track everything, guys. Pipeline threshold. So if you guys have a bunch of stuff sitting in your pipeline, means you're not building a big enough team, or you can't manage the volume that you need to be managing. It's that simple. Door knocking. Guys, door knocking is a very key part of what we do. It is not, and it's something that Yaki and I were talking about. We're actually going to make sure that it gets in here on this document in one of the areas, because door knocking is not recommended. We're not hoping for it. It is required. Door knocking, generating business, because you want to know something, you're going to have plenty of downtime. It's going to happen. It can happen during cold season. It can happen just during certain weeks. Because Yaki, isn't this business kind of a little bit like a roller coaster? Some weeks are crazy. Some weeks are a lot less.
Yeah.
You're going to have downtime. Do you recruit in your downtime, and do you generate leads in your downtime? Now, this is nothing compared to what we require sales to produce on generating leads. You guys are, this is one job per week. Yaki, you've done door knocking, right? You've had experiences where you'll go knock a door, $8,000, you get a 13% finder's fee, and you know how to sell because you've been here a while. Next thing you know, you're making almost $1,500 to almost $2,000 just on one project, right? Yaki, is door knocking the neighbors and something that is effective, and is it fairly easy to do? What do you think about that?
I think it's really easy to do, and I mean, you're right there. The best method is to pull the neighbor out and have them look at our workers' work and how we do things, prep and all that.
So it's simple, but it's
Simple.
only hard because of this rejection. Most people can't deal with it.
It's a mental thing. It's definitely not for the light skin, I'll tell you that.
Gotta have thick skin, guys. Gotta be able to just, okay, they said no. So what? So what? Not every, you're gonna get 90 no's before you get one yes. That's just part of the game. Expect it. It's okay. But door knocking, good, medium, bad. Over budget labor. Well, if you have a team of subcontractors, painters, and they are always saying they need more money, something's wrong there, guys. You should be 80% or more of your jobs that don't go over budget. If you start getting here and almost half your jobs are over budget labor, we got a major problem. Major problem. The next thing, job costing problems. Every job that you finish, you're going to put together all the numbers. This is what I paid on labor. This is what we paid on material. Upload all your receipts. Were we on budget or are we off budget? You guys, job costing problems means that you're submitting reports and Yaki's reviewing it and it's wrong. You're not uploading the numbers. You're not entering them correct. So we got to have clean job costing. Yaki shouldn't have to go back and clean up all of that data and have to review every single job that you're submitting. Because if Yaki's looking at 50 jobs a week, she can't be doing that for all your jobs. You got to submit good job costing. Review rate. Overall, your performance is heavily determined by your review rate, but it's not limited to it. Because Yaki, I've seen project managers come in here and they manage to get good reviews and squeeze out of jobs without a bad review, but they're ultimately not a very good project manager. And so it's a big part of it, but it's not everything, guys. We look at everything. Like just because you're getting good reviews and people, you're doing something, you're giving people a discount or something to make them not write a bad review. We see past that stuff. We got, guys, the standard is high. Okay. So we have good, medium, and bad on reviews. Reviews are so important. They fuel business. They get more leads. They get people to trust us. It builds our reputation. And our reputation's everything, guys. I'm always wanting to play the long game. Yaki, you know that when we come across situations, I always tell you, Yaki, what suits the best business or what suits the business best long term? I don't care about that $200, Yaki. Make sure that customer is taken care of and it's fair and we do what we're supposed to do. Because then we'll get referral business, repeat business, and the chain never stops. All right, and then we're going to grade a lot of OKRs, guys. Do you need to do final walkthrough number 2s all the time? Do you upload your walkthrough videos? Do you have effective communication, timely communication, cross communication, internal communication, all these things, which this list, when you guys go to sign this document, this list will be filled up a little bit more, like it'll have all of them, like internal communication, things like that. All right. So that's everything in terms of KPIs, OKRs. This is how we coach. This is how we refine. This is how we get better. Yaki, anything that you want to add to the KPIs and OKRs?
No, I think you were pretty thorough on that.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about compensation. This is the fun part. But we talked about everything that it takes to get to this point, guys. Now, this is the roadmap. I want to be very clear. When you come on board, you're a level 1. You're a level 1, which is $50,000 salary. You're not getting any commission yet on this. You will always get a 13% finder's fee on revenue sold. You must maintain 80% or more on your KPIs or OKRs and good. If you guys are less than that, that means we've got a lot of issues that we need to fix. Sales commission. When you guys upsell on jobs, we're doing an exterior brick job. Hey, Yaki, I want to do the trim as well. Okay, I can measure that and give you a price. You get 4% of the revenue for upsells. So the commissions you do get immediately are the finder's fee and your sales commission. This is a level 1. Okay. Level 1 is going to happen for, so you cannot become a level 2 until you have done a total revenue produced of, well, $200,000 right here, or 60 days. So it's either 60 days or $200,000 in produced revenue before you level up to a level 2. But again, you must maintain the KPIs, the OKRs, and things like that as well. It's not just, oh, I've been here 60 days, time for me to get an upgrade. No, 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 no. You need to be doing your job correctly. Now, and I'll go into something here later in this video about your onboarding process. All right, level 2. When you level up to a level 2, after 60 days or 200K revenue, your KPIs, OKRs are good. It's $60,000 base. You now start to get 1% of the revenue produced, of all revenue you produce, $250 monthly bonus for reviews and good, and a $250 monthly bonus for job costing and good. It's a lot of commissions, a lot of bonuses, because you guys get a finder's fee, you guys get revenue produced commission, you guys get upselling commission, you get a bonus for good reviews, and you get a bonus for good job costing. 5, between commissions and bonuses, 5 ways to make more money on top of your $60,000 salary. You want to make a lot of money, you want to make great money, a lot of it's on you guys. All right, and then that's a level 2. Okay, if you want to level up the next level, now guys, we're a growing company. There's many ways to grow within the company. You can either, in terms of mobility, you can either grow into what we call a regional manager role, which only one person can be a regional manager. And a regional manager is in charge of all the locations in that region. You continue to get your salary, okay? And what's going to happen is, but before I go any further, for you to be considered for this role, only one person in a region can be this role. You continue to fulfill the role that you're currently doing, project manager, plus you get the regional manager tag. So you are now a project manager and you're also the regional manager. This can only go to someone who's produced $2 million, guys. So don't be coming to me when you've produced, $1 million or something and say, I should be the regional manager. We have not seen nearly enough volume for you to be able to say something like that. I need to see your leadership skills. I need to see, do you show up on time to meetings? What kind of culture, standards? What are your KPIs? What are your OKRs? And that's why we have, you must maintain 90% or more KPIs, OKRs, and good. You need to also have $200,000 in finder's fees. If you're a regional manager, I need to know you also generate business. You generate business and you take care of business. That's someone who's a regional manager. What kind of money can a regional manager make? You can make 1% of all the revenue of your region in year 1. Year 2, 1.5, year 3, 2%. Now, again, this is to give you guys an example. All the final details get locked in, et cetera, once you guys get to this point. So this is to serve as an example to give you guys an idea of the growth that can happen. You guys can also grow in the sense that where Yaki's growing. Yaki is the production director. Yaki oversees all production across all locations now. So there's many ways to grow, whether it's regional manager or you're becoming one of the directors, et cetera, et cetera. And so there's a lot of ways to grow on this team. So those are the 3 levels. Yaki, any questions, anything I should clear up before now getting into the numbers? Some more. You're on mute right now. I can't hear you.
You're very thorough. I don't see anything. I mean, those KPIs, OKRs, they're pretty straightforward on what to it's a it lays out how to be successful, basically. So I think it's, again, you're very thorough on this.
Perfect. Okay. Now, guys, what is the earning potential? That's what this section is about. That's what you guys have been wanting to see in this video. To sum it up, a low performer, this is someone look, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you guys are a low performer and this is where you're at, I don't think that you're probably the right fit for us here at Protein Painters. If you're gonna hover around in this low performance, but I don't even see it lasting. So you better at least be here, but I want you to be here. I want you to be there. Because if you're doing better, that means the company is doing better. Now let's go into how this works. I've laid out what is a low, high, and medium, medium and high performer. So you can see a high performer can make anywhere from 91 to 107. It's not limited to 107, by the way. I'm just trying to give realistic ranges. There are people that are going to come in here and blow that out of the water. If you generate a lot of business through finder's fees, you're upselling stuff constantly, and you're doing this stuff, dude, you can make more money than that. I'm just trying to give you an idea realistically here where I think most people will probably fall in. So you have your base salary, okay? Level 1 is 50. Once you level up to a level 2, you're making 60,000 base salary. This is your production commission. So if you're producing, let's say you're only producing $1 million a year, well, you're making $10,000 in commission from this. So 10,000 plus your 60,000, you're making 70 there. But if you're producing $2 million a year, which I've seen Yaki, I think one year in Midland, you produced around like 1.6, 1.7. I think it was last year. I haven't looked at, because obviously you haven't finished your second year, but you were around here in Midland. This is what you were producing, right? So it would be your base salary plus 17,000. So that would be 77,000 just there. Finder's fees, okay? Again, so like Yaki used to do like solar and stuff like that. So she's done sales before. Guys, I'm gonna tell you this right now. 36,000, it's low. It's low. It means you're bad every month, basically. Good, a minimum of good every month would be here. But I think a realistic goal for a project manager, get that 100,000 in. Your first year, I'm gonna get at least 100,000 in generated revenue. Guys, I've had numerous times where I have a realtor or something, and I had one realtor during the slow season bring me a $60,000 job and a $40,000 job back to back, $100,000 from two jobs back to back from one realtor. It's possible. You can generate this stuff. Now that's a really good story, Sam. What about something that's more normal? Sure, Yaki can tell you what's more normal. Yaki, can you give us any examples in a certain period of time when you went and did door knocking and what kind of success you had?
I mean, I think, what was it, within the month, I had 4 or 5, and that's not even like full-time knocking. They weren't all closed at the same time, but they all came in. And there were averaging within that was about 5K average.
Yeah, so $5,000 on average per job. Yeah, some smaller, some big. Might be an $8,000 job on the bigger side. Might be a $3,000 job on the small side, or a $2,500 job. So guys, you can make this on your finder's fee. So we talked about your base salary. Okay, base salary plus what can you make from how much revenue you're producing, plus how much money can you make on finder's fees, plus how much money can you make from upselling. Now, Yaki, how often do you get asked on like a percentage of jobs? I could totally pull up this data, but I'm not going to do it for the sake of the time of this video. What percentage of jobs do you feel like customers ask you, or there's potential add-ons and stuff like that? Would it be 1 out of 4, 1 out of 5?
I would say 4 out of 5. It's pretty common.
4 out of 5.
It's pretty common, whether it's a small add-on or whether it's a whole job add-on. It's very fairly common.
I mean, it's pretty inevitable that people usually have some little add-on. Can you also paint this little piece here? Can you also do this little wall here? But like the big ones, You're doing my brick. I want to do my trim too. That might be a little bit less
That'd
common.
be more like 2, 3 out of 5. Because I've had people, hey, let's add the fans, or hey, I want to add this shop, and it's still some good money. It's still there.
Mm-hmm. And so upsells are always available, guys. Now, granted, how accurate Yaki's telling you her numbers right now, I don't have the exact data in front of me, and I don't want to pull it up right now, but the point is there's always upsells available. Okay. And you guys got to capitalize on that. So if you're producing $1.52 million a year, guys, upselling $200,000 is a very possible thing for you. But again, if we're not, if this is all we're upselling in a full year, guys, something, not just upselling, but even you selling. Maybe you knock the neighbor door and now you know how to measure, you know how to do sales. 50,000 a year is nothing. And so that's what you can make money. You guys can make this commission as well. So we talked about finder's fee commission. We talked about upsells commission. We talked about the revenue you produce commission. That's 3 of the commissions. Okay. Then we have these review bonuses. So if your reviews are in good standing, per month, you get a $250 bonus. If you do that 4 months out of the year, which is not good, we should be good in this every single time. You would be getting $250 per month. You do it every month out of the year, you're getting $3,000 extra dollars there. If your job costing is in good standing, you can get up to $3,000 a year there too. All right. So those are all the ways that you guys can make money. And I'm trying to lay it out very clearly what that looks like. So don't say, Sam, I want to come in here and I want to make $100,000, but then you're not willing to bring in any finder's fees. You don't upsell anything, right? You're not getting the good reviews every month, that is like the easiest thing you can do. And job costing, easiest thing you could do. Double check your numbers. It ain't sophisticated. It's dumb simple. But we incentivize you to do that so you're not making Yaki's job harder by having to double and triple check your work all the time for you. That's an easy $6,000 right there. And again, if you're not doing this, something's wrong. We should be doing this. That can be an easy $13,000 there. Upselling jobs, an easy $4,000 to $8,000 there. And then producing. So guys, there's plenty of ways to make that money. But don't think that you're going to make that money if you're not doing the things we're talking about in this video. A level 3. This is where it gets really crazy. This is where it can get really, really good. If you are a regional manager has many responsibilities. You're going to be a core leader in that region. You're going to be filling in for people, training people. You're going to be doing all types of stuff along with the role you're doing. But you can really capitalize on the growth of that region heavily. So if you oversee a region, say you oversee the West Texas region, well, your first year, say West Texas is doing $3 million a year. You can make $30,000 on top of what you're already making. And then by year 3, you can make $60,000 on top of what you're already making. And so there's so much earning potential as you level up. But guys, all of this earning potential, again, is based on your performance and how much you pour into this. This is not the typical job. You're not going to just plug in and start making a lot of money right away. Yaki, what would you say to people who are watching this, like, oh yeah, that's a quick way for me to make, a lot of money or whatever. What would be your thoughts to someone thinking like that?
I don't want them. I'm gonna be the one training with them. I don't want them. I like you said earlier, I don't want to be slowed down. It's too much. That's when it becomes hard.
Yeah, usually someone who comes in like, oh, I'm going to achieve this really quickly. Those are the people that actually don't put in the work. They're looking either for a handout, or they're looking for shortcuts, or they're looking for minimal work for maximum outcome. Yeah. But the reality is, anything great in life takes work, guys. It takes work. It takes effort. It takes accountability. It takes discipline. You cannot get to these levels without doing all of those things. And that's why I'm laying it out very clearly in this video.
Yeah, this role isn't easy, but it's very clear. We value accountability. The structure we have, it's there for a reason. This role is a lot of under pressure for sure, but again, it's laid out. It's laid out to be successful. Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's be very clear on this. A project manager, can you make six figures? Yes. I've laid it out on how you can do that. Okay. Well, Sam, what's the upside even past that? Well, it can be the six figures that I just showed you, plus what you can make as a regional manager. If you qualify, if you've been here, you've proven it over a period of time, over $2+ million of revenue. These are the kind of numbers you can bring in on top of that yearly. So there's tons of upside as a regional manager. Some of our regions, for example, OKC Dallas, that's going to be a region. OKC Dallas can produce $6+ million a year. It can do that kind of revenue, guys. So there is so much upside, but it takes time. You got to be willing to stack those blocks every day and build something great here. Everything here takes time. Building your team, making more money, your skill sets, your growth, how your teammates and people are going to look at you. Are they going to respect you? Are they going to love you? Are they going to hate you? All that stuff takes time, guys. All right, last but not least, we've talked about compensation. The things we do not offer here. We do not offer gas money, gas reimbursement, unless we're going outside of a 2-hour radius, which is very rare, especially as a project manager. That's extremely rare. Any automobile related expenses, we don't do that. Cell phone expenses. And then we don't offer any kind of medical insurance coverages, health, dental, vision, anything like that. Your onboarding process. And again, this is, you may have questions about our stuff because this is not the only stuff that's not included. You might ask me something or Yaki something like, no, we don't do that. So the point is, you want to make more money, all that, it's all laid out right here. We give tons of commissions and bonus incentives to everybody. Every position is laid out like this across the company because it fuels the mentality for that high achiever. Oh, I can make what I want here. I can earn what I make. I can make more money if I want to. People love that. High achievers love that. I'm not going to pay you the same salary as Bob, and you're great and Bob sucks. That's it. We don't do that. You're going to make way more money than Bob. That's how it's supposed to be. Onboarding process. The first week, unpaid training, because you're going through the online training modules and you have optional ride-alongs. This is highly encouraged so that you guys can put that together with your training. You can put the full puzzle together for you. You will also take a couple tests before you come on day one. Your first 2 weeks, you'll be shadowing and being shadowed by either the production director, regional manager, or owner. You're going to go through intensive coaching, guys, daily coaching calls, plus KPI and OKR tracking for accountability and development. I do want to lay this out very clearly. In your first 60 days, there's high accountability. It's a high accountability and evaluation period. This is your time to show, prove yourself, consistency, system adoption, and alignment with our standards. Strong support will be provided, but performance during this phase determines your progression. You got to prove it. We're not bringing you on and then leveling you up to a level 2 as a guaranteed thing. You got to prove it, guys. You got to come in here and be willing to work. All right. And then last but not least, termination and accountability. We do have a couple forms that you will go over with us, potentially even during the hiring process, so you know what you're jumping into. Policy, culture, standards, acknowledgement form. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. This job description, and because it requires you to stay consistent, have consistent adherence to these things. Any required tasks or directions given by production director or the owner, and the duties may be modified, expanded as needed. And so you're acknowledging that you are on board with all of these things, and you know that that's what's expected of you. All right. So guys, as we wrap up this call, I want everyone here who is still watching this call to know Again, we want to build something great. We went through this call. You may have never seen a call like this before. Wait till you start doing the interview process. It's pretty thorough, but we are slow to hire because we want the right people on our team. We are quick to fire if the wrong person is on our team. But with that being said, we're not looking to replace high performers. We want high performers. I want to build the biggest painting company in the country. And I know in order to win big, you guys have to win big too. And so if you made it this far in the video, that's awesome. And if you feel like this is the right fit for you, you reach out to us and you let us know, and let's get the process going. Let's start going through the hiring process and see if this is the right fit. Now, Yaki, what would you like to add before we end this call?
Really nothing. I will be doing the interview process. Just any questions you have during the after watching the video, just jot them down and we can talk through it. But then that, like I said, this is pretty straightforward and whatnot.
Yeah. You've been here 2 years. Why are you still here?
I like it. I like the stress.
Oh gosh.
It's it never stops. It goes.
Okay.
I really like the culture. I really like just everything, We can have some stressful moments with customers, painters, but you always have those wins as well, and those are what keeps me going. Every day's a new day. It's not the same.
I like it. All right. Well, guys, that's the call for you guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed this call and you got the information, the insight that you needed. Message us, and we look forward to starting the hiring process with you. Let's go.